we will be continuing with module number 5. So the ones which I have highlighted with bold is the ones which I have already covered. Now these are the parts which are left. Okay, so since we are doing fiber optic components, so in a fiber optics communication, apart from source, fiber and detector, we have various other components. Okay, so we know that first I need to fabricate the fiber, then I need to join the fiber. So for joining, we have the connectors or we have the splices. Then couplers are there. Then the cable comes. How do I protect the fiber? Then if I have to send multiple signals across the same fiber, I need to multiplex the signal. So here your WDM comes. Then I need to filter. Okay, the signals. Filters are a part of communication. So fiber filters are there. So we will see what should be the characteristic of a fiber filter. We are not going for any filter design, just the characteristic. Then an important concept of fiber grating. What is fiber grating? This word, if you remember, it was present in the attenuation measurement. It's a monochromator or a fiber grater. When the light falls on it, it is reflected into its constituent wavelength. So how that grating is done, okay, so that we will be seeing. Then one kind of filter is called as Fabry-Perret filter. Okay, we have Fabry-Perret amplifiers also. So the scientist name was Fabry-Perret. So from that it came Fabry-Perret filter. Then fiber switches. Yes, when I'm using switches in fiber optics. Okay, so those switches are also of a different kind. So what are those switches in fiber optics? Then wavelength converters. See, we have those three optical windows. 850 usually we don't use because the losses are less. But we go for the second optical window, that is 1310 and 1550 nanometer wavelength. Okay, so some operators are working at 1310 nanometer and some operators have their components or the vendors and they are working at 1550 nanometer. So when the signal, it travels across various networks to reach the final destination, what happens is I need to convert the wavelength. Okay, so first of all, we will see why we require wavelength conversion, and then what are the different wavelength converters? How do I convert the wavelength? Then, so wavelength converters is also one of the components in fiber optics. Then we have optical amplifiers. So in optical amplifiers, we are just going to see what is the basic application of an optical amplifier. Where actually do I place an optical amplifier? Do I amplify the signal before and then transmit? Or I will put an amplifier in between, or I will put an amplifier after the detector. Okay, so there are various kinds of amplifiers. So we will see where actually do I place the amplifier. It is based on the scenario or the topology where I am putting the amplifier. Okay, so the basic application of optical amplifier and then the types of optical amplifier. Okay. When I am saying types of optical amplifier, here I am meaning where do I position in the entire stream, कि कहाँ पे मुझे उसको place करना है. Then two widely famous optical amplifier is your SOA and EDFA. Okay, so SOA is semiconductor optical amplifier. And then we have EDFA. This is the one which is actually widely used. It is erbium doped fiber amplifier. So erbium, that material has certain properties, and that property of erbium, we are using it. Okay, so that is why the name erbium doped fiber amplifier. So we will be studying the principle about each of them. So no derivation as such, it's totally theory. So no amplifier design and all. It is not possible to design a fiber amplifier. Like in EDC, you have designed no class A, class B amplifiers, all those values and all. So it is not like that only. So the concept, okay, and the application we will be studying. So I hope this part is clear. So once I finish with the 5th module, then I will be starting with the 6th one, the link budget analysis, because that is required for practical. And then your LED, that is the source and the detector, 2 modules will be left. The weightage is less. So with this chapter, more 60% syllabus is being covered. Okay, so once I finish this, 60% syllabus complete ho jata hai, and then the remaining 40% is between the 3, 4 and the 6th module. So actually your module 1 and module 2 and module 5, they carry more weightage compared to any other modules. So, and the source and detector, we will finish it earlier. Okay, so let us start with module 5. So the objective of today's lecture is we will be learning about various fiber components like isolator, circulator, multiplexer, and fiber filter. Okay, so isolator, circulator, you will be studying in your microwave also. We have isolators and circulators in the lab. Okay, but for fiber lab, we don't have isolators and circulators. So your learning outcome is you will learn about the principle of operation of an isolator and circulator, and you will understand the characteristic of a filter. Okay, so that is the learning outcome for today's lecture. Now, starting with isolator and circulators. So we have already studied couplers. Okay, so what was the coupler doing is it was taking an incoming signal and it was passing on to multiple paths. So basically your couplers were passive optical device. They are reciprocal device. In that, now what is the what reciprocal device? In that the device works exactly the same way if their inputs and outputs are reversed. Okay, so that is the meaning of reciprocal device. See, so here one MCQ question can come. See, couplers are which device? Reciprocal device. Now, what do you mean by a reciprocal device? Is if I reverse the input and output, the device works exactly in the same way. However, in many systems, there is a need for a passive non-reciprocal device. So, okay, let my input and output, even if I change, let the working be same, but I want it to be passive. Passive means it does not require any power source. So simply by reversing the terminal, it should work on its own properly. So an isolator is an example of passive non-reciprocal device. So directly एक MCQ question यहाँ से भी आ जाता है. Okay, now what is an isolator? Its main function is to allow transmission in one direction, but blocks all transmission in other direction. So suppose if I have a block like an isolator block and my signal comes over here. Okay, so what this isolator will do is, see, we have reflections. We have seen how the OTDR works. The OTDR is working on this principle of backscattering, means some signal does reflect back. Okay, now if the signal is reflecting back and it directly enters the source, the laser source, my source might be damaged. Okay, so what I want to do is, if there are back reflection, that back reflected light should not enter my source. So that should be my condition. So the question can come, where actually do I put the isolator in the stream? Okay, so isolators are usually put after the source so that any signal that is reflected from the transmission line, or here it is my fiber optic cable, it should not enter the source. So what will the isolator do? It is the light signal enters the isolator and it is passing out. So if by chance any signal is back reflected from this end, the isolator will block this path and it will not allow it to come out of it, so that my source is protected. Okay, so that's why we can use an isolator after the source. Okay, so it blocks transmission in all other direction. Okay, so suppose if there is one connection over here, connection over here, if I have decided my signal will only go through this path and it will not allow the signal to come out of the any other path if it is there. Okay, so where are isolators used? So isolators are used in system at the output of optical amplifier and laser. So here this is what I was mentioning. Okay, now at the output of laser. So here is the output of laser. So I put an isolator over there, or at the output of optical amplifier. So these are the two places where I will put an isolator. It prevents reflections from entering this device, which would otherwise degrade their performance. So these 2 points you can please remember for your MCQ, or if you are writing a short note on optical isolators. So what is an isolator and where actually I am placing the isolator in the entire stream? Is this clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when I'm talking about an isolator, what are the two key parameters of an isolator? First one is the insertion loss, and the second one is isolation. वो कितना isolate करता है? Okay, so what is insertion loss? We have already seen insertion loss in fiber biconical taper coupler, that is FBT. So it is the loss in the forward direction, which should be as small as possible. Okay, so when I'm selecting an isolator, so I have to see कि उसका insertion loss जो parameter है, it should be very small. And then isolation. So it is the loss in the reverse direction and which should be as large as possible. So typical insertion loss is around 1 dB and the isolation is around 40 to 50 dB. So यहाँ से भी एक MCQ question आ सकता है कि the insertion loss in an isolator, it should be small and the isolation, it should be as large as possible. जितना ज़्यादा है means उतना ज़्यादा isolate कर रहा है. Okay. Now, circulator. So I am covering isolator and circulator both together. So here you can see what is the circulator. Now, what will a circulator do? It's, you can say circulator is something like your coupler also, but it is not a coupler. Okay, so a circulator is similar to an isolator, except that it has multiple ports. Isolator में क्या हो रहा था कि signal once it enters, it is passed on to the other port. Okay, and it does not come back to port number 1. Now, what is in circulator? It has multiple ports. So what I have is, suppose here in this particular diagram, I have a 3-port circulator. Okay, so what we do is input signal on port number 1 is sent on port number 2. If input signal is coming on port number 2, it is coming on port number 3. And if input signal is coming on port number 3, it is going on port number 1. Okay, so it is circulating the signal. Okay, coupler में क्या हो रहा था? Signal used to enter from one port and used to be splitted in different other ports. Okay, so here I don't have condition like this. One input port and one output port, but that device will have multiple ports. So that is what is your circulator. Okay. Now, circulators are useful to construct and add drop elements. See, in the fiber optic chain, what happens is I need to add some signal, okay, in a particular path. Suppose that signal travels across another network. I don't require that signal. So I need to drop it. Okay, so then add and drop facility, how can I use it? I can use it, a circulator, to add a signal or to drop a particular signal. So circulators also work on the same principle as an isolator. Now let us see what is the principle of an isolator. So to tell you about the principle of an isolator, I will just show you one video as the prerequisite. Okay, so just focus on that particular video. It is just telling you about the polarization of a light.
Polarization of light.
You can hear the sound.
Light is an electromagnetic wave in which the time-varying electric
sound?
field vector E, sometimes called the light vector, and magnetic field vector B are mutually perpendicular to each other, and also perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of light wave. The phenomenon in which the light electric vector variations or vibrations are confined to a particular direction in a plane is called polarization. The transverse nature of light can be demonstrated through polarization of light wave using tourmaline crystals. Take a tourmaline crystal A having crystallographic axis AA' and place it in the path of a beam of ordinary unpolarized light from the source S. When unpolarized light from the source S of original incident intensity is passed through the tourmaline crystal A, the emergent light beam is found to be slightly colored and less intense, as seen from the observer at point O. On rotating the tourmaline crystal A about the light beam SO as axis, we do not observe any change in the color of the emergent beam. The resulting emergent light beam from the tourmaline crystal A that contains vibrations only in one direction is called linearly or plane polarized light. Take another tourmaline crystal B, having crystallographic axis BB' and place it in the path of the emergent light beam from the crystal A, so that their crystallographic axis AA' and BB' are parallel to each other. The emergent beam from the crystal A passes through the crystal B, and still colored one. In this position, the crystals A and B are said to be in parallel position. We now rotate the tourmaline crystal B about the light beam SO axis. We now rotate the tourmaline crystal B about the light beam SO as axis. We observe that the intensity of the emergent beam from crystal B further reduces. If we continuously rotate the crystal B about the beam axis SO, the stage reaches when the crystallographic axis AA' and BB'
My job is to make
Okay, so in that particular video, we had seen that the state of polarization of the light. Okay, so we had those AA', BB'. Okay, so they work on the principle of that name that was missing is Faraday's rotator. Okay, so you can search and you can see a video on how working of Faraday's rotator. So they had not mentioned that word in that particular video. So what happens in an isolator is the state of polarization of light propagating here. Suppose we are taking the case of a single mode fiber. So it refers to the orientation of its electric field vectors, and that is orthogonal to its direction of propagation. So this was shown, the electric field was shown in the particular video. So we had two propagations, okay, and they were orthogonal to each other. Okay, so at any times we know that electric field vector is a linear combination of two orthogonal linear polarization. Now this we had seen in the case of your PMD also, that is polarization mode dispersion. We had considered the two polarized light, and one of the polarized either the horizontal or the vertical used to travel faster and other used to be slow, so there was dispersion that was happening. Okay, so now here we are not talking of dispersion. What we want to do is, I want to allow one state of polarization to pass and I want to block the other state of polarization. So for that I use two polarizers in between. Okay, so let us see what is the simplest diagram. This is the diagram in your book. So suppose this is the internal of, this is just the principle. Okay, so this is suppose the internal of your isolator, or same principle applies for circulator also. Okay, so the title is Principle of Operation of an Isolator that works only for a particular state of polarization of light signal. Now suppose I have, what is the construction is, yahan pe I have a polarizer, I have a second polarizer over here, and in between I have a Faraday's rotator. So suppose this is my incoming light and this is the state of polarization. SOP is the state of polarization. Now if you see, this is vertical, this line is drawn vertical, and this polarizer also, this line is vertical over here. So the incoming light, which is having this particular state of polarization, will be allowed to pass through the polarizer as it is. So whatever is the light signal over here, the same light signal I'm getting over here. Okay, so since you can see the alignment of the light and the polarizer, they are all vertically polarized. So जो जितने भी vertically polarized light है, it will be passed through the first polarizer. Then what I have is, I have a Faraday rotator. Now what this Faraday rotator will do is, it will tilt this beam, okay, by an angle of 45 degree. Okay, so this state of polarization, which was vertical, I get a 45-degree tilt, and the state of polarization becomes this way. Okay, then I have the second polarizer number 2, which is having the state of polarization of 45 degree. So what it will do, whichever signal is having 45-degree inclination or state of polarization, it will be allowed to pass through it. So this signal is coming out as it is. So यहाँ पे क्या था, I had vertically polarized, it was passed through the polarizer. Faraday's rotator gave an inclination of 45 degree. So I have the state of polarization now 45 degree. It passes through the second polarizer, which is having the state of polarization of 45 degree, and the light comes out. Okay, so this light continues its journey ahead. Now suppose if there is some light which is backscattered and it is entering the isolator. So we are talking of, this is the backscattered light. This is the direct light signal which is passing through. Now I am having the backscattered light, reflections from some point in the fiber chain. So this reflected light, suppose it comes like this, ये 45-degree polarization वाला light ही यहाँ पे आया. So the first polarizer, what it will do, it will allow this 45-degree inclined light to pass through itself. Now it has entered the isolator block. So this light, it enters and it is passing through the first polarizer. Now what this Faraday's rotator will do is, it will give a 45-degree tilt to the incoming light. So ye 45 degree and another 45 degree will become 90 degree over here. So, and this is now horizontally polarized. The state of polarization is horizontally polarized. Now when it enters the first polarizer, over here, iska state of polarization kya tha? It was vertically polarized, and this is horizontally polarized. So total mismatch between the state of polarization of the first polarizer and the signal over here. So what will happen is, this polarizer will totally block the signal and it will not allow it to come out. So here what happened is, even though, so this is suppose the block of my isolator, पूरा isolator का block है, I have an incoming light, okay, and if there is some backscattered light that is entering, nothing is coming out because this polarizer has completely blocked the light signal. Did you understand this? It's a very simple phenomena which is explained in the book of Senior with this particular diagram. So this is the concept that is used in an isolator. Is this clear? I need to listen and yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
Only one yes. Okay. So continuing with the explanation, the same thing will be there in the slide. If I have missed out some points, you can read it. So this is from the notes only. So assume that the input light signal has vertical state of polarization. So this point, it is passed through a polarizer which passes only light energy in the vertical SOP and blocks the light energy in the horizontal SOP. Okay, so this is talking about this part. Then in the next slide is, the polarizer is followed by a Faraday rotator. So a Faraday rotator, what is a Faraday rotator? So again, an MCQ question from here. A Faraday rotator is a non-reciprocal device made of a crystal that rotates the SOP, you can say for example, by 45 degree, regardless of the direction of propagation. The Faraday rotator is followed by another polarizer that passes only SOP with this 45 degree orientation. So talking about the second polarizer. Thus the light signal from left to right is passed through the device without any loss. So directly the signal is passing out of the isolator block. On entering On the other hand, okay, now the back reflected light, which is coming from here. Okay, so the light entering the device from the right side, due to some reflection, what it will do, it is having the same 45-degree polarized state. Okay, so this is rotated by another 45-degree by the Faraday rotator, and that's why it is blocked by the polarizer. So this way, see, this is just the principle. Okay, so now as the scientists and researchers are designing, they will design various means. Okay, the alag-alag tarike ka polarizer hoga, the rotator, okay, it will be different. Okay, so some variations they will do, but the principle remains the same. I need to change the state of polarization of the incoming reflected ray. Okay, so once it does not match with the first block, it is blocking and it is not allowing any signal to pass through itself. So this is the simple principle on which your isolator is working. Now coming to, so it is just the concept. So short note on isolator, it might be asked, so you can write it, and multiple MCQs can be asked from this section. So I have highlighted which and all MCQs can be asked. Okay, so coming to multiplexers and filters. Okay, so optical filters, we know it is an essential component. A filter is an essential component in any communication system. Now, multiplex and demultiplex, where will I use it? I am using it in WDM system. One of you might have taken this special topic on WDM, wavelength division multiplexing. So I need to multiplex or demultiplex the signal. Okay, so there also I can use an optical filter, and I can use filter to provide equalization of gain. And if there is some noise signal, I can use an optical filter. Some of you are going to take optical receivers, okay, synchronous, coherent and non-coherent receivers. So there you have the problem of noise. Okay, so how can I eliminate the noise? We know by using appropriate filters. So what is a filter? So filter is a two-port device. So here when I'm talking of a filter, it will select one wavelength and it will reject all the other wavelengths. So this is the simplest definition. Now we don't talk in terms of frequency, we talk in terms of wavelength in case of fiber optics. Okay, now see what is this filter doing also. Okay, suppose I have multiple signals entering the filter. So what it is doing is it is rejecting, it is allowing only one and rejecting the others. तो वो जो reject हो जाते हैं वो उसका हम क्या करते हैं? So we can use them. Okay, so suppose किसी के लिए वो rejected wavelength काम का है. So what we do is the last line, just pay attention. We might have an additional third port on which the rejected wavelength can be obtained. Okay, so this is something we can use later on. So that rejected wavelength might be useful for somebody else. For my present condition, I am selecting one particular wavelength. So I'm filtering out the others. But where does that go? Okay, so I can make all those rejected one available at one particular port, and if somebody needs to use, okay, so this is something different that we are doing in case of a filter. So just see over here. So just a block diagram, I have the signal entering at lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 and so on lambda 4 wavelength. So this particular filter, suppose it is, so it's one port, it is entering through one port, and through another port, I suppose have a filter which will allow only the lambda 1 wavelength signal to pass. So suppose this is my port number 2. So what I will do is I will have a port number 3. So यहाँ पे ऐसा तो कुछ करेंगे, okay, like an isolator or circulator something, and I will make available the remaining wavelength lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4 on the third port. So there is, you can design a filter also in this way. Not necessarily हर एक filter का ऐसा ही रहेगा. You can have a filter where all wavelength enter and only one wavelength passes out. But you can also go for this particular option. So that's why this is shown by a dotted line. Okay, not necessary on all the filters we have this scenario. Okay, so a simple filter is which selects one wavelength and either blocks the remaining wavelength or makes them available on the third port. And what is a multiplexer? So multiplexer, as you know, we have lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 different wavelengths. So this multiplexer is combining all of them and it is transmitting the combined wavelength in a single port. So the group which is presenting on this, they will elaborate on what is wavelength division multiplexing. Okay, so same thing, I can have a demultiplexer. So I have a combined wavelength coming over here. So wavelength demultiplexer will separate it into its constituent wavelength. Okay, so that is what is, this is what is a filter and what is a multiplexer. So just simple introduction. Now tell me, this is something I want to ask from you. Filters. Okay, so you know what is a filter? Passing of only one particular wavelength and rejecting the others. Okay, so in order to do so, what should be the characteristic of a filter? We are just going to study about the characteristic. We are not going to design any filter. So what do you think should be the key characteristic of a filter? Yes, Ritik?
No aliasing.
No aliasing. Yes. Yes. Anybody else? Think in terms of all the parameters which you have studied. I am introducing a filter.
Selective.
Selector. It will select one particular wave. So good selection. Select good selection. Good selector. Any other parameter? See, once
noise.
then only top opens. Yes, Atul?
Remove noise.
Yes, removes noise. Removes noise. Then you have been studying this filter design, band pass filter, band
Stabilize the output.
stabilize the output. Yes. See, characteristic of a filter, 5 marks short note will be there. Okay, so you will get all this. जैसे Google में type करोगे, all general filters का सारा आ जाएगा. But suppose I want specific to fiber optics. What characteristic actually I am looking for? Yes, there are noise in the receiver, so it will remove the noise. Yes, any filter should not have any aliasing error. The selection has to be good, means I want some better words for this one. If anybody, when I'm talking of good selection, actually filter क्या select कर रहा है? Good selection and aliasing little bit connected.
Wavelength select करता है.
Wavelength selector, filter wavelength select करेगा. Okay, I will design it for a particular wavelength selection. Anything else?
No reflection.
No reflection. Okay. No reflection. Okay. Anything else?
Higher throughput.
Higher throughput or higher efficiency. Okay. Anything else? See, the moment I click, it will be the next slide where all the points are written. So something from all of your thinking. And all are good points. Okay. It's not that all this, I might have referred to some books where I have only specific points. The author might have looked into those particular points. But when we are discussing, you are sharing all these points from your experience of what you have learned. See, final year subjects are all application based. We are not teaching you altogether something different. Okay, all those learning you have done in your second year, third year. Anything else?
High compatibility.
High compatibility with what? With
Any kind of input.
whichever signal is coming through, the wave filter should be able to work with that. Do you mean by that?
Yes, ma'am.
High compatibility with incoming signal Anybody wants to add, or shall I move to the next slide? Okay, so this all will be there in my PPT. It is not there in my notes because it is shared by you people. Okay, so it will be there in the video lecture which I will upload. Okay, so all these points are good ones. You can write it, you take a screenshot, whatever, but it should be there in your mind. Okay, just see what points are there. Good optical filters should have low insertion loss. The loss should be independent of the state of polarization of the input signal. This passband you had mentioned, low, no aliasing, good selection. I was telling, use a different word. So whether I want a broad passband, I want a narrow passband. Okay, based on that passband, it should not mix with the adjacent channel. So there, that first point, aliasing wala point. So if my filter has good selection, means the passbands, see, ideally the passband should be 90 degree cutoff. Koi bhi filter ka aise 90 degree cutoff is dB should be the response. But we have this kind of slope. Okay, so due to this kind of slope, there is this aliasing error that is present. Okay, so the passband skirts, okay, I can call it as the passband skirts. Okay, that should be good. And here they are telling that it should be insensitive to variation in temperature. When I include an optical filter, the filter itself should introduce low loss. And when the signal is passing through it, okay, I don't want that signal to change the state of polarization. देखो, अब तक ये word कहीं हमने discuss नहीं किया. But just now you have seen that if the signal is entering a particular device, if I want to add or drop a signal, I want to filter it out. Okay, there are chances that the state of polarization changes. So whatever filter I am selecting, I don't want the state of polarization to change. Okay, so the loss, it should be independent of the state of the polarization of input signal. So these are some new terms that are coming. So ye 3 points plus all your points are there, and then 2 more points are there. As more and more filters are cascaded in a WDM system, because we just discussed multiplexers, so filter multiplexers all will be there in the system, the passband becomes progressively narrower, like this one. Okay, so this is where your aliasing, crosstalk, ISI all are present. So to ensure reasonably broad passband at the end of the cascade, the individual filters should have very flat passband. So this, we are talking of this portion, so as to accommodate small changes in the operating wavelength of laser over time. And the passband skirts should be sharp enough, this point we are talking of, to reduce the amount of energy passed through from adjacent channel. Okay, so these are some of the key characteristic features of the filters. Okay, yes, noise problem, whatever the points that you have said. Okay, you can also add that the filter should not attenuate the signal. Rather, you should have a filter, but वो अलग ही concept हो जाता है कि which can provide a gain, if not attenuation of the signal. So that becomes an altogether other design. But yes, it should not induce loss itself. That is also one of the important characteristics. So these are the key characteristic features of your filters. Next lecture, that is next week, I will start about grating. I am not covering grating right now over here. I had one. So I'll stop with this over here. I'm stopping the recording.